Hello, happy Wednesday. Here we are again, happy as can be. Nice weather outside, it's quite warm. Bit of a wind. Spring is on its way. Things are getting better. I hope. Well, not for some people, as we know by the news, but it's, I'm sure it'll get sorted at some point. Anyway, there's always something in the world that's going wrong. Can't solve everything. There, I'm just cleaning my rubber, sorry about that. Right, Drippy portrait. Well, I do like these. I mean, some of them work, some of them don't. A lot of it's kind of by chance, really. Because if you plan on putting colour on instead of charcoal and just rubbing out the light bits and creating lovely colours and things, sometimes it just goes wrong, you know. It's much better, tell you the truth, when it's done on the floor. And I can't do that because it has to be upright, so you can see it. Otherwise, I'd not be working on the floor. I mean, I couldn't do it anyway. But I can turn it and drop it, but you wouldn't see what was happening then, so I just leave it and blend it with a brush. So I've got a dry brush and I've got my wet brushes and a big decorator's brushes, like, yeah, so we can just blend things. We're using acrylics again. Acrylics will come off if you keep a thin glaze, okay? If you go too thick with it and it dries, it's plastic, so it's gonna, my brain's gone. It's plastic, so it's gonna dry plastic, so you won't be able to rub it out. It's gonna dry with a nice shiny surface like it does. So I'm using Winsor Newton Galleria acrylics, okay? This is a processed yellow, which is quite a strong yellow compared to cadmium yellow, and it's warm. I'm going to be using some alizarin crimson, which is a cool transparent red, okay? It needs to be cool transparent. I should have turned them upside down really, get all the paint to the bottom so it comes out easier. I've got my burnt sienna there, which is nice and warm brown. Phthalo green, which is a very dark transparent green. That mixes with ultramarine blue to give you turquoises. And I've got my ultramarine blue, which is, as you know, is ultramarine blue. The only problem with pots is it keeps bunging up at the top, and I forever kind of bunging up at the end of a brush. But then it just can't, the bit I've just shoved in tends to find its way back again. So I go hard again in the top, you know. I've lost my tops off them, so they don't make them like they used to. They just fall to bits now when you take, you know, get some proper pots so the lids don't fall off. I've got an eraser because I'm rubbing out my charcoal after, and some small brushes, my nylon and a bristle brush, pointy one. For a bit of detail, this lady, I've not a clue who she is, okay? I'm not trying to get a likeness, I'm just using her as a reference to get that lovely look. She's got some nice teeth there as well, which is going to be interesting because the teeth are not just white, they're not white at all. Although a lot of people's teeth are white these days, I don't know how they do it. Well, I do know how they do it. So I'm going to glaze with the colour, and then we're going to rub out the colour to get to the pure white gesso underneath. Now this is acrylic paper. This is paper with pure white acrylic gesso on top. Okay, I use Galleria again, Winsor Newton make, yeah, and it gives a plastic surface so your paint will not sink into the paper. Your paper will cockle because your water will get in there, but the moisture, but then it flattens again. You can dry it off with a hairdryer. I've got my handy hairdryer hanging about. But the first thing I'm going to do, this is not square, this is kind of oblong. My picture is a bit square, but I'm not really that bothered. I'm not bothered about just getting the neck on. It's just the head I want to get on. I think she is slightly kind of looking above my eye level. It looks like her nose is actually on my eye level. I mean, it doesn't make much difference when they're looking straight ahead, because you could draw one line straight through the pupils of her eyes. But it's also, because it's one line, it's also a curve, which is what I said, because if it's an egg and you push the head backwards, the egg and the line in the centre for the eyes becomes a curve. Now, it doesn't matter if she's looking at you like that, because the curve would be from the eye up in the top of the nose and then curves down to the other eye. So that, but all that means is you're going to be seeing more of the face and less of a forehead. Can you see? So that's what makes me think I am slightly looking up at this model. So she's a bit of importance. So we did, the last one we did was similar, because we were looking up at the model. So I'm going to sketch it out. Not long really, just about an hour. So I'm going to sketch it out, and I'm going to I want to get the head on. I want to get the chin on. So I'm going to draw this egg. Now, yeah, nice round egg. Yeah, it doesn't have to be too perfect, as long as it's an egg shape. And because she's looking straight at me, I've got a centre line in the middle. Now this is willow charcoal. I can rub this out quite easily, so I'm not worried about it. The centre line, if her head was on my eye level, the centre line for the eyes would be right in the kind of the middle of the egg, which is about there. Because I'm slightly looking up at her, that line goes backwards, so I see less of the forehead, more of the face, which is what I just said, yeah? And then we put the socket in the middle. Now the head is about 5 sockets wide, okay? So we've got, make the eyes wide enough. So the centre one is there, and then we've got 2 sockets that touch, they all touch, the centre line should go through that circle, shouldn't it? And they will be on the same plane, because that is going around the corner, that's going around the corner, so it's slightly narrower, you see. So you just imagine 5 sockets wide, more or less. Now because she's looking at me, that lovely pupil in the eye, for some reason people don't put pupils in. It's what makes them look at you. And then we've got the iris, which is this lovely curve of the iris, and the iris, as well as the colour of your eye, also has a lovely kind of dark ring around it. Then we do the top eyelid, which curves around, and then it goes into the tear duct there. We've got the same here, tear duct, then a curve from that down to the eye, okay, which actually overlaps the bottom eyelid. We don't put the bottom eyelid in, because we're going to use the light of the pigment to kind of do that. Don't blend this one. The nose is approximately halfway, but because I've got that distance now, it's a bit lower, but I can see higher. So the tip of the nose is there, the white bit's here, and the nostrils are here, because they're quite big, aren't they? So you see in the shape of the nostrils, like that. And I can just see this edge, so if I drop a line down from tear duct, same with this one, you could just about see the edge of a nostril, you know. You don't have to put that line in, but then we've got this lovely shape then of the septum, in the bit in between. And then as you look, the top of the top lip is actually where the face meets, is this U shape, and because you're looking slightly backwards, it's a bit shorter, but the top lip itself is quite thick. You see, so we've got this really thick shape. If I drop a line down from about here, it's actually the shape and the width of her mouth. So I've got this curve down like that. It actually curves like that, doesn't it? And I've got this one here as well. That's about the same. Okay, keep the mouth similar. The bottom lip then has 2 big muscles there, and quite a full bottom lip, yeah. Keep this eye nice and big. Keep this nice and big, you know. If it was a child, you'd have it really, really big. You could emphasise it. The shadow underneath, which is a oblong like that. Then we get to the chin. Doesn't matter if you run out of egg or the egg's a bit higher or lower, you measure the distance from there to the chin. And if you look at the picture, the chin looks quite pointy because it's nearer to you. If I measure it that and compare it to something else, it's like the distance between the eyes to the nose is the same distance from the bottom of the bottom lip to the chin. Yeah? So this is all we do. We kind of measure things. And then we cover the egg with hair. So like when you go to the hairdressers and you go and get your hair cut and whatever people do, because I cut my own, the hair frames the face. So as you look at this hair coming down here, and then you've got the shape of a fringe, which is quite curly, and then she goes off the picture more or less. So you've got a lot of these curls. She's got lots of hair, yeah? I've made it smaller because I want to get some shape in the background, that's all. A bit of artistic license. So this side is just passing, that's where the eyebrows sit, there and there, like that. But this side is just passing the cheek, like this, and then we're coming in from this side. So you look at the distance there to this, which is a straight line. Same there, it's a straight line. And that is where the jawline's going to be, and the same here. So about where the mouth is, that's where it changes direction into your jaw. Okay, keep the chin angular. We've got this lovely dark of a neck as well, and we keep the neck very slim. Okay, and the hair's just kind of wild and going off the picture and everything. Okay, so when I sketch this now with my pen, I'm going to put in the lines that I find I need, you know, not everything, just the eye position, the nose, things like that. So I use a waterproof pen, a black one, fine tip, yeah. You will see it if you look close on the picture. You can go over your charcoal. So I'm going to do the same thing, draw the shape of the eye, the iris, the top eyelid. Your pens will go over the pastel, okay? As we get to the nose here, we've got this lovely kind of shape and a highlight, and then we got a very fine line and the shape of a nose here, which is quite a dark shape, yeah, like that. Then we got the philtrum and the top lip. So I'm just drawing that line. We've got a bit of a eyebrow showing here, and it's quite thick. This is where the hair comes down past the cheek, like that. And this is the angle of a jaw, which is something like that. Keep it angular. You can cover it up with paint, and then we've got hair, wild, lovely curly hair, things here. So that's the top of a fringe, which is going into the forehead, and I've got a shape there, which comes around, and then it goes down past that eye, you can see, and then you got the thickness of the hair there, and this one coming down here. So the neck comes from there. We've got this really nice shape of a neck, and where the collarbone sits and whatever. If you want to put that in. Now you'll only find out if everything's right when I take off my charcoal. Should be, yeah, because you always, the reason we draw it in charcoal is to position everything first. So I know I haven't done the top lip. So the top lip here, nice darks in the corners, nice darks, a curve in the bottom, and a curve here. She's kind of showing a couple of the front teeth, all right, and then we get the fullness of the lip. I know what I've done wrong there. I've made a mistake, because that is actually where the bottom of the lip should be, because that's where the teeth are. So the lip is actually there. We don't put a line all the way around the lip. You're going to make it very, very hard looking. So we just corners of the mouth, the bottom lip, like that, and then the shadow, if you think so. And then we've got this, the chin. Okay, so that's not so bad now. So these are the teeth, because that's where that lip curves in the middle. Okay, you can just about see a teeth. It's kind of there. And all you do is paint the dark bits in between the teeth. You don't actually paint the teeth. Okay, you leave them the colour that whatever colour it is. Alright, and then I'm going to rub out our charcoal. It's got a cloth. And you should be left with a nice subtle line that you've done with the pen. Yeah. If you want to get rid of anything like the circle in the middle of the head, you get rid of that. Because you might see it later. We don't want to see anything like that. We don't want to see the shape of the nose, the nostrils, the chin. We've got a thin line there, that's all we need. And a lot of this paint is going to be, a lot of the hair is going to be the paint. Okay. Now I haven't drawn the shadow on the nose because I'm going to glaze this in later. And we've got this lovely shadow that comes down from here. And it goes all the way down. And we can just about see that nostril, which I forgot to put in. And this is the bottom eyelid. Like I said before, it covers the bottom eyelid, the top eye covers the bottom eyelid, and then you get a dark edge just at the corner there where it's quite thick. Okay? Don't put any eyebrows in, eyelashes, so you've got a dark shape just near the tear duct as well. So keep that distance between the eyes and the tear duct. Then it goes a little bit darker, but we're going to use paint to do that. So as long as she looks like a human being, we're okay to go. I haven't got my paint out yet because it's sat there drying up, so I'm just waiting a little bit. And we're going to rub out because with a cloth, because you need a damp cloth for this, like I said before. A damp cloth, okay? Get rid of that. You do want it to be white paper underneath and not a bit mucky, so that's fine. Stand by. If she's looking at you and she looks, like I said, like a human being, then we're good to go. Alright, so sorry if I've just spoken you here. I know when I get to the microphone it goes louder. Okay, so looking at the picture, we've got some really lovely kind of shadows. If you imagine this egg and the light's coming from this direction, and it's hitting the face, the forehead, the nose and the side of the nose, the cheekbones, the top of the top lip, things like that, the chin, all on this side. And on this side it's in darkness. Okay? I don't know what colour her hair is, but it doesn't really matter. She can have yellow, green, blue, sienna, anything. You know, it doesn't really matter about that. But I'm going to add warmth over this side and cool over this. What I do need to do is actually splatter. So I'm just pulling my curtain across, so I don't want to splatter everything in the room. Get me light on it. That's it. We can see all that. It's a bit dark now. That's okay. So I'm going to splatter. So if I get the colours out, because I haven't done yet, we've got burnt sienna, cadmium yellow, like I said. We'll get some out and just squeeze them in the palettes. Deep weld palettes are best, you know, so you can put enough. Like I said, if you buy this, if you buy the tubs, you will be able to put it back in, you know, whatever's left. So it's good to buy the tubs. A bit of green, because I want some green for this green. I don't know what's the problem with it, but it just never wants to come out of the tube. Bit of green. Not use a lot of green because she's going to look ill. And some ultramarine. So yeah, that's it. I've got my ultramarine out from yesterday a little bit. Okay. And then I get a big brush. Okay. So water. Just put water in your palettes with the colours first. and when you pick up, it should be there on your brush. Okay. So if you think about colour, warmer colours, cabin yellows, things like that, beautiful warm colours. Birch siennas are going to be the sunlight as well on the side of the face and things like that. Then we've got some alizarin, which is into that side of the face with a bit of blue, because we want the blue to be the shadows as well. We don't want it to cover everything. We want it to run, drip, things like that. Give it some nice blended tones. Don't worry if it runs. We've got this lovely spatter technique that we can use in the hair, like that. This is going to go lighter, so don't worry about it. And then as we come into the neck, it's going to be warm, cooler, sorry, as well as the hair and the head. That. We've got a bit of warmth here as well. Okay, big brush or a small brush, it's entirely up to you. Just be careful when you do this. We want to put some green, oops, not got any, green and a little ultramarine on the brush and let this blend into a hair. Yeah. So we've got a lovely darkness, and this is why I cover everything up. We want that to blend and create shapes. Alright? So I've got this lovely shape as well. Doesn't have to be the colour of the hair. I do like turquoise, yeah. So I'm going to keep some green in her hair. Greener. We can soften this by using a damp brush. This is dry brush, sorry. We can soften the features, just take it away from the face, you see. What I do need to put in is a little bit of purple. This purple is going to go down the side of the nose there. It's also going to go down the side of her cheek. Okay, so we've got this really beautiful blended tone. Using the dry brush. You see, so your pigment, the brush, the tonal value, the drawing, get it right, Tony, is still there, and I'm just adding dark shapes really to the shadows and just blending it with this dry brush. Yeah, things like that. And so I've got this lovely warmth and the cool, and everything's dripping and running. We can use this as well for taking off colour. So we've got the neck, and we're going to paint the neck as well. Got that lovely warmth in there. It's going to dry later, so don't worry about that. I'm going to get a small brush, get some blue and green and a bit of red. Now this is a dark colour, and I want to just drop this in, because this is where her hair changes. There, it changes in from the shadows to the light catching. So it's like the light catching the side of her head, you know. And I'm going to leave this because I like the way that's running and dripping. Yeah, it is drying all the time. We can speed it up, because when you speed it up, it stops it running as well. It up, and then I can do a bit of glazing, which is using some pigment to cool things down. Now, like I said before, alizarin is a cool tone. it's in the eye. It's in this one as well, because it's in the socket. So the socket and under that eye is alizarin. See what I mean? So it gives you this lovely subtle cool tone around the eye. Then it goes kind of lighter, so we can use that. I'm just blending a bit with it, just to give me that socket. We've also got the same alizarin under the nose, because we've got a nice little bit of a shadow, pinky tone there, like that. So we can use that as well. And then we've also got it in the top lip. It's quite dark on this side. Bit of pigment, touch of blue, mix them together to get a nice kind of dark tone, which goes into the top lip. And then I've got a bit of water with it, so I'm just going to drag it across so it goes lighter. The top lip goes lighter. It's quite dark here, and then it's dark on the bottom lip, just underneath slightly, and inside. Okay, so we've got this really nice shape. So the bottom lip is the same colour, but it needs to go darker as it gets underneath. So we can use the cloth to lighten it later when we do our toner bodies. We can see an eyelid, which is there, like that. Again, a bit of blue and a bit of red, because you want that to stand out a bit, because the light's catching underneath. So we want this to stand out like that as it comes down to the tear duct. We can put an eyebrow in, you want, just that shape. We could put it here as well. We could go a little bit darker there. Just put it in. As it goes to her hair, I'm going to scratch a bit off as well, because we're going to lighten that. While I'm at it here, I'm going to use some blue, green and blue and red, because here we've got a lovely kind of negative space, and it's actually the shape of her neck and the chin. The shape of the neck and the chin. If you want it to drip from them, just add water. And then we've got the same shape here. Which is going to bring out her neck. Look it up. And I know it's going into shadow, and we can just drag shadows across and things and go under the chin, whatever. Don't forget, we're going to rub a lot of this out, aren't we? This is the underside of her eye, just here at the bottom of the eye, the bottom eyelid. It comes across and then it blends into the cheek. Alright? And we've got the same thing happening on this side. It's a bit darker there, and then it goes lighter over there. We can take that off with a piece of damp cloth, and then we dry that off, and then we'll use a little brush, small brush, just to put the dark eyes in. So small brush, smallish, not dead small, but small. And then we pick up some, again, red and green, blue, red and blue and red and green. The eye, very dark in the middle, top eyelid, very dark in the middle, iris, top eyelid. Okay, same here, so miss that iris. And then we're going to put our noses in, the nostrils, just shape like that. Okay, corners of the mouth, again, because they're very dark in the corners. And just a little bit of dark under the teeth. Actually, just there. And then we'll go to about the lights. So dry the eyes off because I don't want it to smudge. Okay, so all that colour doesn't look natural, but it is beautiful colour. Start. So I start at the top of the picture actually, because I'm starting on my forehead, on her forehead. And as you look at it, it's not very light. It's got this kind of mid-tone. You get a bit more dark on the left-hand side, and then it goes light towards the centre. You see? You've got a flat shape. That goes into the hairline. Now, because that's not dried properly, I'm getting some texture there, which is quite nice. And then I've got the shape at the top of the forehead, and then this comes down into a bit of a shadow. And this forehead comes to the top of the eyebrow. There is a bit of shadow there. The top of the eyebrow is usually slightly lighter because it protrudes that a little bit. It comes out from the eye. You can do the hair as well, where the light's catching the hair. So we can use this as the big area, which we can glaze later, of a hair that's catching light. Yeah, like that. It's like a scary monster at the moment. A lovely reflected light under that eye lid. Yeah. And then we've got the whites of her eyes there, which I'm going to use some white paint later. Got the half moon shapes, which you can see on the right of the iris, both sides. And you've also got a highlight. We can use white paint for that. I'm just lifting it off. Then at the bottom of the eye is the colour, so we can lift the colour off there. Same on this side. The inside's quite dark, and then the outside it's got a little bit of light, a little bit lighter, that's all. And then the bottom of the eye, I know you can't see this, but the bottom of the eye goes lighter, and then you get a little sparkle. Yeah. So as I'm coming down to the nose, and under the eyelid, sorry, under the eyebrow, it's light. It doesn't matter if your lines are not there, you know. I've just drawn those lines as a reference. The middle of the eyelid, the top eyelid catches the light, so it goes a little bit lighter. Same on this one. It goes a little bit lighter on the top eyelid, and then as you get into the eye, it goes into shadow. This a little bit lighter, not too much. You want to keep this side in the shadows. In fact, you don't really need to do any hardly. Look at the nose now. So I'm coming down from the centre. Now, right at the tip there, I've got a lovely highlight, which goes into a line, and then it comes off onto the right nostril, and then I get the tip of the nose, which is light. As that goes up here, it goes a little bit lighter near the bridge, and then it blends off into the rest of that forehead. Okay, nice and simple. The highlight in this eye, I've got another light on the bottom eyelid there, like that. That goes into the other side of the eye, and then this blends into the cheek. I've got a shadow there, which I can glaze in later. I've got a shadow on the eye, on the side of the face, which splits up the shape of the eye. And this shadow, I can put the blue, put the light, the blue shadow afterwards. Filter light just on. That's the word I couldn't think of earlier. It's terrible, isn't it? Memory. words are on the tip of your tongue, filter them, and then I say it every day. And then the light catching the top lip. She's got a really nice highlight around the nostril, and that comes all the way down to the side of the mouth, like that. So I'm going nearly back to white paper. This joins on to that area. It's a little bit darker in the middle. It's actually looking like, this is what I mean about this technique. You can control it to a certain extent, but a lot of the time I'm not that interested in controlling it because I want the paint to do a lot of the work. So I quite enjoy seeing what emerges. And he's still feminine at the moment, but it's turning into something like David Bowie when he was wearing his makeup. Yeah, remember David Bowie? Fabulous, sad talent that died. Ride a White Swan and all that. Anyway, I don't think I mentioned things like that because of copyright. Can I? I don't know. A little bit of light hitting the top lip, so I'm just going to take some more of that alizarin off. It also looks like a bit, it's reminding me of Freddie Mercury actually. I was singing him this morning, singing one of his this morning. So we got that really reflected light on the chin, and I could call it Freddie, couldn't I? No one would know, except for you. The light hitting the chin and the face. We've got some reflections over here, but I do like that colour, so I don't want it to disappear. Corner of the mouth there, little bits of reflected light. Highlights for the hair. You know, we can leave this because it's a lovely reflection. We can take some light off the neck a little bit. I need to get down to the chin though first. So leave that little bit of dark between the bottom lip and the chin, and then the side, on that side of the dimple, and this side of the face is catching a lot of light, yeah, and this side of the face, and the other side of a dimple. So you take the lights off on each side of the dimple, and that's where you end up with a dimple. Amazing, isn't it? So the light there, bit of white I can use. Teeth, yeah, got Freddie's teeth. A little bit of removal there and there, just for those little teeth. Make them a bit bigger. I can call this Freddie. It's definitely Freddie. Yes, Freddie. The birth of the painting. That's what we can call it. Beautiful, colourful, just like him and his life. It's amazing how things change. I've got this beautiful kind of highlight of the colours. It's in the neck. The shadows here. You can glaze things like that. But I do like things like this when they happen and they're not part of the picture that you planned. It becomes more interesting, more exciting. Not a clue what colour his eyes were, but does it matter? So the neck, nice light there. This comes down because it's the side of the Adam's apple. Okay. And then I get to the tendon, which is about here. Which goes into that slightly higher, lighter tone, and then that goes into the neck here. But we can let that all kind of disappear into this area at the bottom. You can paint white there as well, so you don't have you don't have a solid stop. You know what I mean? Again, we'll make some hair up because this is the light catching those little bits of hair. right in the tear duct, and highlights in the hair. Again, sometimes it's better to just stop rather than carrying on. Okay. Stop. Little brush, very little, because I want to get these beautiful darks in. So I'm not using black, I'm just using green and red. So green and red cancel each other out because they're complementary colours. So I get a nice dark tone, you see. So I'm just adding the darks, green and red. Around the iris, the pupil, a little bit there. Same over here. And we put the thickness of the top eyelid in, as you can see it. Again, the pupil, top eyelid, iris, and then the shadow, because your top eyelid creates a shadow on the eyeball. Okay. I'm going to just block in a bit of tone around there. Bring the eyelashes down a bit. I kind of like that. Might be easier just to pick some of the hair out here, or his hair, whatever. Again, the nostrils, nice and dark on that side. Corners of the mouth, the middle muscle, and the corners of the mouth. Which blends in actually to the rest of the lip. Nice and dark. Bit darker there, and then we need to put the teeth back just by putting in the shadows at the side of the teeth. Now I haven't used any white. Very colourful character. There's loads I can do to this. I mean, I really do enjoy pottering about with them later. I'm trying to get my white. Forgot to get it out. I'm going to use a little bit of white to bring out some of the highlights. Very small amount. Get your little brush like this, all over my fingers. Look at the eye, pupil, well, that beautiful light, top of the eye, right there. You've got a lovely highlight right in the corner, there and there. Okay, same here, beautiful light, just about there. The bottom eyelid, there, can't see it on that side. The bottom eyelid, there, and then we've got the nostril, not the nostril, the highlight here that goes into a straight line, you see? So you've got a blob that goes that way and it goes into a straight line. Then what you see, not what you know, this is the shadow around the face. It's got a really highlighted top lip. There, a bit here. You can go over your line, you see. I'm actually getting rid of my pen mark. The highlight on the tooth, which is right there. That's all. And a little bit here. Nothing too, she's a bit big bunny-ish, but she looks like that anyway. And then a lovely light right in the corner of the mouth, on both sides really. This is a lot darker though. If you don't want to knock anything back, just touch it with your finger and you put the paint on. And it takes the paint off again, you see. Highlight on the lip. I keep saying her, so I don't know if it's her or he. Then we can use the same technique for some of the hair. So if I want to kind of embellish the light on her hair, I just use a bit of white and yellow. Like I said before, because that frames the features. Okay. So we can just bring out little bits of information. Nothing too fussy. We don't want to start adding strands of hair, do we? No? Automatic. I've just forgotten. I'm going to use a bit of blue. I'm going to glaze this shadow here. It's quite nice that. Looks like he's actually going to cry. And then we'll lighten that part of the face. So glazing, yeah, it's quite a nice way to blend and get other colours in there, just to darken shapes, like underneath the lip and the side of the mouth and the shadows here. Just subtle changes. Darkness, whatever. I also use this brush for picking up the light. So we use a bit of sienna, cadmium yellow and white. Okay, I've got this area which is beautiful. It's light, it needs more white actually. So I've got this really nice curl. And it comes down to this curl here. I've got this lovely white, we can put that in on the cheek. You can also put it in. You can also bring out this cheek. Like that. That's why I don't like standing still with painting. You need to kind of keep playing about and creating different things. This is how you learn. Yeah. This is how you learn what works, what doesn't work. Yeah. So I'm going to use this bigger brush, yellow, sienna, white, for these beautiful kind of lights catching the hair. Only where the lights catch it. Don't kind of do, or don't try and do everything. It will just work from a distance. Yeah, it's dry brush as well, so it's actually dragging the colour, the pigment, over the surface. I'd make it lighter in the middle. I've got a couple of light areas there. You can see. This one goes into light. It's beautiful kind of curly one there. This side, not too much light. This is going to be darker actually. So it's not dark enough. The reason being, and it's because it's, when I put it on, I looked at the distance here. You can see the nose to the cheek and the nose to cheek. So it's nose to cheek, nose to cheek. I need to be here. Nose to cheek, nose to cheek. So that's the angle of the jaw, and that can go that way. Blend it, soften edges. It's also the shape of his neck. whoever she is. I don't know. We glaze things. I've said that once, but I've just noticed something else. So here, I'm just going to go lighter now with my cloth to give me a highlight. Just on the face. Because the light's coming from that side and she's got this shadow from her hair hitting. So that cheekbone, nice and light there, coming in down the side of the nose, blends a little bit. Round the chin, jaw, blend it. So the more you press on, the more you take off. Okie doke. And there's actually a shadow here as well. Same shadow, which is coming down from the forehead. As you start painting, you notice all these different things, you know, because that forehead is a lot lighter there. So again, use my brush, get some of that blue I've just had, and then just drag it in, like that. And see, just subtle shadows. If you want to glaze anything, like make something warmer, like the lip for instance, can do. Just add a bit of light, yellow to it, take the light off in the middle, makes it curve. Bit of light on that cheekbone. Yeah. Stronger lights. We can pick out background shapes. Sometimes it works really well this, because you pick the shape of his shoulder out, something like that, or his neck. I know you can't see it, but if you do the same over this side, it's and then it blends into the rest of your white underneath, so it becomes quite interesting. Keep the light at the top of the head, up there, like that. And then leave it. Colour. I was going to say I'll Google Freddie's eyes, but I'll just give him blue eyes. She looks like she's got really dark hair actually, so I'll just to do brown. I think blue will work better, and if I'm wrong, I can change it. Okay. Depends. It's not Freddie, I know, but it could be Freddie lookalike. So I'm going to use a little bit of blue and white. Put that at the bottom of each eye, there, that really stands out, okay? And I want to lighten that, just a little bit of an area there, the side of the shadow, needs lightening, okay? And a subtle change here, just on that corner of that mouth. And again, we can use compressed charcoal, so if you wanted to use a bit of charcoal or compressed, you can go back into it, and this will make it darker still, can you see? So this is a bit of willow. So you just put the darks in. Redraw. All about redrawing. Bit of the eyes, the feature. Let the eyes stand out. Tim Curry, that's the other guy I was thinking of. And the jawline. Nice and strong here. The trouble we're using pastel is I have to fix it. Because, well, you know why? It's because it will smudge. Charcoal, I mean, not pastel. Tim. Hook it up. Glazing. I can hear somebody shouting at me. Glazing. Glazing is red sienna, any colour you like. You know. Plenty of water. If I wanted to warm areas up, I could glaze it like that. You can see. So because I've already taken the tones out, I'm warming the top of the head up. If you go too far, I can just remove it again. Yeah. Okay, I don't really, I'm not too keen on the bottom bit now. I just use my paint up and get rid of it. I could actually glaze it. Yeah, but it's quite warm. Just warm it up a bit. A bit of a, make it look like she's on a pedestal. Alright. I'm going to leave it and I'll do some more, might not bother. Let's get rid of a spot. She's got a spot on her head. I'm quite happy with the hair. I know it's all different colours. It's a great cut she's got. We can use, that's what I was going to do, little bits of white pastel, because I've already used charcoal, just to put in the light catching her hair. So it's like up here, like that. It doesn't matter, give it a good spray around the head. Like that. Some of these girls are going to stand in front of the face, you know. Some out. Yeah, she's feminine. That's the main thing. If you lose anything here, you can always bring it back, see. Neck, whatever. Right, just gone 5 to, so I'm going to leave her, turn her to the light, turn her to the camera, take some tape off, and I'll see you tomorrow, because tomorrow is figure on gesso coloured paper, which means same as we've used today, only we put some colour on first, right, and then we paint the figure, charcoal over the top. Yeah. Sorry if I'm stood in the way. So the beauty of these is once you've drawn the head and you get everything right, she's not going to go anywhere. So you can throw paint all over and then bring it back to life. So, or glaze things, you know, and you don't have to go as dark as the picture, do you? It's your interpretation. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye for now.